gender.
You see, and that's why that Paul told the church of Corinth it was shameful for a man to have long hair. And that's why he said, some of you were effeminate and then you got saved and you came out of that, because Bible Christianity is the total opposite of this. And if you notice, the people get into this, there's this blending that happens in every area of their life. They blend. It's bizarre, but it happens. It's because they've taken on the spirit of this world. And I hate to even say it because I know it would it's going to devastate so many people, but this symbol right here that I hold in my hand, this statue that many Americans love and adore, this was given to us by Western European Freemasons. And if you'll notice, this is the body and hair of a woman and the face of a man. This is Semiramis. This is her. And she hides right out in plain view, and you never see her. This is a picture of the perfect androgynous being. They are moving to get a perfect world, making the world a better place. And ultimately, it becomes such a grand place, we'll go into a perfect age. And they're going to have a perfect leader step out. And he will claim to be God himself. And that's the whole point of the Third Adam series. Satan is trying to create his own millennial kingdom, his own Garden of Eden. And if you're not careful, he'll pull you into it as well. Everything that God does, Satan imitates. And Satan right now is trying to usher in his own millennial kingdom with his own world leader, the Antichrist. And as he attacks women to rise up and take your place as equal with the man, which is called the rise of the divine feminine, it causes three things to happen. It causes disorder, it causes dysfunction, and it causes destruction. And in order for Satan to usher in this new age, the values of the past have to be demonized and destroyed. Now, we see this happening all throughout the world today. We see people calling for the end of patriarchy, and all that is just a straw man that they're going after. But what they really are trying to do is destroy biblical values in a society. This has nothing to do with politics. Everything about this is spiritual in nature. And so for the new world to come in, the old world has to be destroyed. And we see here in the order that God has created how that Christ is head of the man, man's head of the woman, woman's head of the children. When a woman steps out of that, that causes disorder. God has a plan and an order, and women are a major part of that. And if you take women out of the equation, the whole thing crumbles. And that's not demeaning to women at all. I don't know where you get that. That's a lie from hell. That is not demeaning to women at all. It shows that women have the utmost value in the eyes of God. Stop believing these insane lies of feminism that women are subservient or you are put down. That's not true at all. That is a lie from hell. You have tremendous value. Tremendous value. And that's why God protects you like He does. And so when a woman steps out of that and goes into an occultic worldview, disorder is caused. And secondly, that disorder brings dysfunction into the lives of people. I want you to see what's on the board behind me. We have God's structure. This is God's order. Christ head of the man, man's head of the woman, woman's head of the children. And what I've done is I put a blue arrow for leading and then a red arrow for submitting. And really all relationships in life are built on submission and leadership. All of them are. And what I want you to see is that as Christ leads the man, there is a natural submission that has to happen. You can't have one without the other. These two are together. And so as a man leads his family, there is a natural submission that his family has to follow him as he follows Christ. And as the woman leads the children are to submit to that. and submit to their parents as unto the Lord. And you see here, this is God's order. The man is to submit to Christ, and the woman is to submit to man as he submits to Christ. And the children are supposed to submit to their parents as unto the Lord. And this is God's plan here. This is God's order. And I want you to notice that in this side right here, that Christ can be seen by the children. And there is a communication line there. These children can see Christ, and these children can come to understand who Christ is and to see who Christ is. But what I want you to see on this side of the equation is that what if the woman says, nope, I'm done with this. I will be above the man and equal with the man. And now she starts trying to lead the man. And then eventually, if that dynamic is how it is, then the man has to submit to the woman. And this right here causes absolute chaos, because what happens next is that the children start to lead the family, and then the family starts to submit to the children. And next thing you know, you have a home run by the kids. And then also, I want you to see this, that man tries to be in leadership of God and really tries to control God. If you don't think that's happening, I want to tell you it is. And I want to tell you right now that this right here, God will never go for that. God is not led by man. He's Lord. He will not be controlled by men. When there is dysfunction in the order of God, Christ is cut from the equation. You cannot be right with God unless you are within the parameters of God's order. You just can't be. And in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12, the nation of Israel got into this Babylonian mindset, and they got into this occultic mindset. And the Bible says that children were their oppressors and women ruled over these people. It was all backwards. There was disorder, and that disorder caused dysfunction in the lives of these people. Now on this side, I want you to see that Christ is able to be seen by these children. But on this side, where there's dysfunction, I want you to see here that this never happens. And so this is part of the Antichrist plan, because for him to usher in his kingdom, to usher in his Antichrist, his one world government, he has to raise up a generation of children who know not the Lord. He has to destroy this structure here in order to have his followers and have a generation that will go for his agenda. This has to happen. And so he creates disorder in the home. He goes after the women, just like he did in the Garden of Eden. And as these women shift into an occultic mindset, that disorder leads to dysfunction, as you see right here. And that dysfunction eventually leads to destruction. And as Satan is trying to turn the tide, if you will, as he's trying to push the whole world into a shift to embrace a satanic worldview, in order for him to do that, Christianity has to be weakened. And you see now that modern churches are becoming so apostate, so worldly, that they're almost laughable. And this has been his plan all along. And so the shift will happen at a major scale. I believe that to be the grand delusion of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And I believe that these people by the billions are going to go for this. The third Adam is coming, if not already here. And he is preparing the way for his coming by creating a generation of cursed children who were raised in dysfunctional homes that were not able to see Christ. And as 2 Peter 2:14 says, these cursed children, these are the ones who will follow the Antichrist. The disorder will bring dysfunction, and out of that dysfunction will come destruction. For the first time in American history, less than 50% of the American population is going to church. I'm telling you, it's happening. Destruction is coming. And it's time that you wake up.